Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
I'm Gav.
And it is a beautiful day. As we predicted, Duke has fallen to the UConn Huskies. Shout out Dan Hurley.
Yep.
Shout out Tars Reed. Holy crap. Is that Tars Reed or is that Shaquille O'Neal?
I'm going to tell my kids about Tars Reed.
Yeah, that was a legendary performance from him. Absolutely, for the first, I say 75% of this game, put the team on his back. And
he kept them in it the whole time.
So let's go ahead and get into that game in particular. We're going to cover the entire Elite Eight, but let's go ahead and get into this game.
Yep.
Gav, what was your biggest takeaway from why Duke choked in this game?
Yeah, I feel like time and time again, they've had youthful moments, whether it was against Siena, whether it was against St. John's, not too much against TCU, but they've showed these moments of youth time and time and time again.
Yeah.
And the only person that I haven't seen moments of youth from, even though he had a few turnovers today, but he is the reason they beat St. John's, is Caleb Foster. Yeah. And I think it was a complete mistake. It was weird. Like, usually they'll go offense, defense at the end of a game with a bad defender and a good offensive player, whatever the case may be. But, like, offensively and defensively, I don't see, other than honestly Caleb's a better defender, I don't see a huge discrepancy between the two to sub them back and forth.
No. And
I thought that at the very end of the game, you know, obviously credit to UConn for making, you know, critical key plays or whatever the case may be. Silas making that free throw and Braylon Mullins making one of the best shots in March Madness history.
Absolutely.
But I also think you had a timeout. I think you call it, we talk about it. And at some point at the end of games, Duke, for some reason, some of it is luck, but some of it is we could have done something differently here.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is. How good Duke's program and their recruitment has been does not level out to where Jon Scheyer is in the coaching hierarchy of college basketball right now. He is not one of the 10 most elite coaches in college basketball.
That's completely fair to say.
There is mistakes that he continuously makes, and like you just said, I'm going to start with Caleb Foster and him not being in the game. Caden Boozer in this game doubled up on Caleb Foster's minutes. I do realize he's coming back from injury. Caleb Foster is the guy that got you to this point. He was your starting point guard all year, played great all year, has developed in your program for 3 years at this point.
Yep.
And last year, when your guard play, in my opinion, was the reason that you didn't win a national championship, you didn't play Caleb Foster.
Yeah.
And we got on you for it last year. And this year, Caleb Foster, once again, is not in the game. I realize he had 3 turnovers. I do realize that. But Caleb Foster is one of the primary reasons, not Caden Boozer, that you are in this spot.
Yep.
So to not play him, if I'm Caleb Foster, there's a point where it does get a little bit disrespectful to him. And I realize that, well, we did want to be cautious with his foot. If you ask Caleb Foster, do you want to be on the court right now? He's going to say yes.
He's going to win you the game.
And he's going to win you the game. He's not going to make a freshman mistake. That is what continuously gets Duke out of contention for these national championships.
Yep.
Freshman mistakes. So with Jon Scheyer, once again, your recruiting classes have been spectacular since you got the job. But as a head basketball coach, coaching basketball, there was a mismatch today. And you saw it. Dan Hurley is the most elite coach in college basketball. And how his team continued to rally after there was one point, they were down 9 points, and they were shooting 1 for 18 from the three. Let me repeat that. 1 for 18.
And they're in the game.
They are in the game. If you shoot 4 for 18, you're tied, and that is under 25% shooting from the three-point range. Under 25%, he would have been tied. So I don't want to hear, Duke, we had it. No. This entire tournament, you have been in spots to where you could have lost games.
100%.
And today it caught up with you, and you were not the better team today. It seemed like it because you were up substantially at the beginning.
Yeah.
But UConn missed 17 out of 18 threes. So if we're talking about who outplayed who, UConn was the better team today.
100%.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, some credit to Duke. Those threes were not easy looks all the time, but some of them were.
Yeah.
Carabin, I don't care if you're the best defense in the country. He's the winningest player in UConn history, him dropping a donut at halftime is a fluke.
Yes.
And you're lucky that happened.
Yes.
Credit to you for some of the things that, you were able to do scheme-wise. Some things were uncharacteristic of the way he was playing. Solo ball. Some things were uncharacteristic of the way he was playing. Silas Demery in the first half. Some things were uncharacteristic offensively with the way he was playing. I don't think he had an assist. And I don't know what Dan Hurley's halftime speech was, but credit to him and their entire team for staying in it. Staying right there, staying the course.
Yes.
And that was an amazing win. That was the epitome of Dan Hurley in this tournament. Is just he's the hardest coach to beat.
I completely agree.
And like I said, last year's team, who was very limited compared to his two national championship teams, roster-wise, talent-wise, and everything, they gave Florida a shot.
Yes.
And this is one of those games where Duke did it, St. John's did it. Many teams have done it where you have terrible shooting and you find a way to win. Duke did it against Siena.
Yeah.
And usually that's what gets you over the hump for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
UConn is scary now.
Yeah.
Because they're going into next game with a lot of confidence. Carabin will not play that bad. Yeah. And their guys will just shoot better. And right now no one can stop Tarish Reed. And, it'll be interesting because Illinois' defense has gotten much better. It's like actually a top 20 defense now on Ken Pom. And, they're still number one offense. So it'll be a tough team to beat, but this is going to be an elite Final Four.
Absolutely. And like you said, my takeaway is just from UConn side is just mental toughness.
Yeah.
For them to shoot that bad, and every single one of the guys that shot bad made plays down the stretch. Huge momentum plays. When it comes to Tarish Reed, obviously putting the team on his back, if you watch the game, there's nothing else that needs to be said about Tarish Reed. Mullins hitting the big shot, but also in the first half, he was another guy making some shots and making some mid-range jumpers, stuff like that. And then down the line, Silas makes 2 threes at the end to get them back into striking distance. Carabin makes his first 3 out of I don't know how many he missed, but that was a huge 3. Right. Solo Ball gets a steal in transition and gets an and 1 over Cam Boozer. All of the guys that they needed to make plays, even though they played horrible throughout, made plays, and now their confidence going into the Final Four is sky high.
And I don't care how talented a player is. I don't care whether it's A.J. DeBansa, Cameron Boozer, Darren Peterson. Time and time again, I've seen not just this year, not last year, but the history of me watching college basketball, which is my favorite sport.
Yeah.
I've time and time again seen the veteran guards and the vets in general, the seniors, the upperclassmen, come away with wins in March.
Yes.
Whether it's this year, it's Jaden Bradley, Braden Smith. I wish it would have been Caleb Foster.
Yeah.
It's just time and time again. Those are the most valuable players. Not anyone, but a lot of teams have good freshmen.
Yeah.
But it's the upperclassmen who make the winning plays. Like I said, I even think for Duke, the key pieces for Duke, not the best players, but the key pieces were Caleb Foster and Malik Brown. Those are the key best players.
Absolutely.
And that's just truly what I believe watching them play. They make the winning plays. And I think you're going to see it with either Michigan or Arizona, who, Michigan obviously is older. They don't play any freshmen other than McKinney.
Yeah.
And Arizona, they're freshmen, they're 2 freshmen lead them in scoring, and they are just surrounded by vets.
And their freshmen are also some of the smartest freshmen that I've seen.
Yes, and they play within a role. They're not exactly. It's not run through them.
No,
even though they're the 2 leading scorers, it's not completely ran through Burns and Colopete at all.
At all. Jaden Bradley is definitely the system for that team. Absolutely.
100%.
So that's it for that game.
Right.
That's really all I had to say. Just absolutely heartbreaking from Duke.
Yeah.
Just uplifting for me. I'm going to have a great week. But let's go ahead and move on to some other games in this tournament. First other game I want to talk about is Purdue and Arizona. And I just want to ask you, what was your biggest takeaway from this game? Did you think Purdue kind of just blew it at the end, or do you think Arizona is just that good?
Arizona's just that good.
Okay.
And I think they played the long game.
Yeah.
Getting their bigs in foul trouble.
Yeah.
And eventually, they keep fouling, they're going to foul out. And that's kind of what happened. About that 10-minute mark, kind of switched for Arizona and they started, being able to score in the paint. I think what makes Arizona so elite is, I mean, Duke was the number 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it kind of like, I was predicting, it might be Duke, Arizona in the final.
Yeah.
And they just win their matchup, every time. And when I say that, we can go player for player. Other than Boozer, Arizona's better at every single position.
Absolutely.
And they have Cole Pete, who, for the Hornets' sake, I hope, and even maybe my Celtics, that, I hope he drops and he's getting slept on like he is. But he's so good. And people are so worried about, he can't shoot the 3 ball.
No. Just don't even worry about that. In the modern NBA, the fact that he is such a vertical spacer, a lob threat, can handle the ball, great passer,
uses body to shoot the midi,
can shoot the midi. Come on, bro. I mean, sometimes you just gotta watch. Sometimes you just gotta watch games.
Literally. And
go ahead.
With Krivas at the 5, gonna be elite paint protector. I mean, Michigan, Arizona, that's the national championship. I truly do believe that. And that's not to say UConn with all these vets and Dan Hurley can't win.
These are the best 2 teams, I would agree.
These are the best 2 teams. That doesn't mean neither team's going to win it all.
Yeah.
But these are the best 2 teams. And this, I can't get it. I'm so excited to watch the Final Four. I hate I have to wait a week for it.
Yeah. But Arizona, I completely agree. I thought Purdue, Braden Smith and Clough in particular, played their tails off.
Yes.
And it just wasn't enough. They did not have a chance.
No.
I was watching Arizona play yesterday, and it's also their depth. And it's not like 11 guys like OKC or San Antonio. It's 7 or 8 guys that come in and are just like, how do you beat them? Like Delorso shooting 3s. I'm forgetting the other 4. They have the
Toby Awaka?
Yeah, no, not Awaka is also a problem. He got in foul trouble yesterday. He got the low cut wide. Yes. Problem. Like they have so many
gets to the
problems.
rim.
It just at
he's
will.
A freshman.
He's
going to be back.
See, I just don't understand.
But Tommy Lloyd's going to UNC. But yeah,
if they lose, if they win a natty, bro, and he loses,
he said in his press conference, Arizona's gonna have like a good coach after me or something along those lines. Like he is not denying. I'm loving it. I'm hoping he goes to UNC.
I mean, I do too. But Arizona at this point. And I've been saying it since I watched them versus Houston in the Big 12 championship. Yeah. They're just different.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't see Michigan winning that game. I think the Illinois UConn game is a little more interesting. Right. But I think Michigan's a great basketball team.
Yeah.
But just once again, watching Arizona, it's almost like what can they not do?
Right.
When it comes to protecting the rim, perimeter defense, shooting, playmaking. Like everything that you ask for on a basketball team, they do it. It's going to take a bad day from them and a historic day from somebody else for Arizona to lose, in my opinion.
There is and this is not like a what if, no, there's a real reality where they're undefeated.
Yes.
They have 2 losses. One is in Kansas on Big Monday where Bill Self is all-time undefeated at home, and it went down to the wire and Cole Pete got hurt.
Yeah.
And it's one of the hardest places to play.
Yeah.
Could have went either way. And then the next game, they lost back-to-back games. The next game, Cole Pete didn't play.
Yeah.
And so, this is almost a flawless basketball team this year when it comes to the win-loss column.
Absolutely.
And
those losses might have helped them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And not put too much pressure on them.
Exactly.
So I'm high on Arizona. I've said, I don't know since how long, that they were the best team. Yeah. So I love Arizona.
Absolutely. Moving on real quick, Tennessee, Michigan. We were right on predicting this game that we thought Michigan was going to win, but we obviously thought it was going to be a little bit closer.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a much better game.
And Tennessee. First off, let me just start with Tennessee. And you said this earlier. Rick Barnes is the reason y'all got here. The players is not the reason y'all got here. I watched Bishop Boswell. No offense, as a starter on this team, and it was offensively. He might have been the worst guard that I've seen in this tournament. Nate Ament, oh my goodness. I've been one of Nate Ament's biggest supporters. Brother, at what point as a top 10 pick are you going to drop your nuts and say, I'm going to go get it? And I know this is me saying what I need to say. This is not him getting in trouble. This is me saying this. Nate Ament, I'm a big Nate Ament guy. Bro, go take your shots. You have to take your shots. It's like he wants to lose money. Like, I'm confused on where his head was at throughout this game to where he doesn't want to go get it. Your bigs are in foul trouble. You have no one to take the shots for you.
Yeah.
Tennessee, that was an absolute crapshoot from y'all. Y'all didn't even try to win the game. And Michigan got out there. And also, my problem right now is the way Michigan acts after W's. And they're a cocky-ass basketball team.
No, they're cocky.
And it almost is along the lines of Duke, where I'm thinking a lot of these games...
And it's weird because their coach isn't.
Like they're not. They're not at all.
Dusty May is very humble.
And their program also, well, they have had, Fab Five. They've been flashy.
Right.
But the fact that they haven't played anybody that's on their tier. So that's why they keep getting... Duke today played the first team that was on their tier. Michigan had played a Bama team with no Aiden Holloway.
Right.
They played Tennessee today, who obviously was not ready because of two starters who offensively didn't know what the hell they were doing. And
St. Louis.
And St. Louis, who is not a power floor program.
Yeah.
So Michigan is a good team. I see it. I see the point guard play. I see the guards that they have around that are serviceable.
They're the second best team in the country.
I don't think that.
Okay.
But they're a good basketball team.
Right.
But that's what kind of irritates me. It's like no one really wanted to compete with the guys. You got Jackson Lindenborg, who I also like popping his stuff after really popping it. Like he's the one. Now he's playing great basketball. Right. And now he's in the Final Four. So once again, it's like you can't say nothing because they're getting to a point where they're winning too much. But I don't really have a lot to say.
Yeah, I definitely have Arizona winning that game. But I mean, like I said, obviously there's more to the game than what I'm about to say. But a big difference. I mean, you got Jackson Lindenborg, number one player in the portal, of course. We know he's great. 10 for 19, above 50% from the field. 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 0 turnovers. Yeah. And, wasn't in foul trouble. He got to play, as much as he played 35 minutes. And then on the flip side, I think that's the difference. Like, that's their 3-man, and then the 3-man for, Tennessee. Nate Ament, 2 for 12, 0 for 3 from 3, turnover, 5 fouls. Yeah. And I feel like that was, I said going into the game, I think that's the difference in why I would pick Michigan. You were exactly right. I definitely didn't think it was going to be a 30 ball, but I thought that was the difference. Jackson Lindenborg was a senior. And Nate Ament. So I think that was a huge difference, but yeah.
Yeah, so Tennessee, I'm absolutely extremely disappointed in y'all, but we can move on. The first game yesterday, it was, what was it? Iowa, Illinois.
Yeah.
Really not so much to say about that game either. It was, for 95% of the game, it was a close game.
Right.
Illinois pulled away at the end. And unlike Tennessee, who absolutely got just finger blasted, Iowa, good work yesterday, in my opinion.
Ben McCollum.
And Bennett Sturts. You go ahead and talk about those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, Ben McCollum, he's just a proven winner. He doesn't really fall into, the style of pretty much every other team in the country, playing fast. Like, that's the new trend, playing fast.
Yeah.
Playing with a lot of size. They play, like I said, multiple times, they play the slowest pace of any good team, or all the other teams. Like, at all the top teams, they play the slowest pace. They're bottom 3 in the entire country in pace.
Yeah.
And that style messes with you because, like I said, they'll take the whole 30-second shot clock to shoot. You get an offensive rebound, they got another 20 seconds to waste. Offensively, you haven't touched the ball for a minute. It messes up with your rhythm. And it's all being controlled by one of the best senior guards in the country, Bennett Sturts, who, honestly, one of the 4 of us last video should have drafted. Yeah. And he controls the pace of the game. He's smart. He plays every minute of the game. He doesn't get subbed out. He got subbed out for 20-something, or less than 20, 20 seconds this past game. Yeah. And it was his first time being subbed this tournament. Yeah. He got his first foul last game. He stays out there the whole game. He doesn't turn the ball over. And it's pretty impressive to see what Bennett Sturts has been able to do, starting at, Northwest Missouri State, doing his freshman and sophomore year there, jumping to Drake, and then also jumping to Iowa this year, playing in the Big Ten, who, March would tell you that's the best team that's the best conference in the country. Absolutely. And you see no fall off in his game. Yeah. He's been the best player on all of those teams. So that's been pretty impressive to see from him and all the big shots he was able to make. Yeah. And a whole lot of confidence. So yeah, a lot of respect for both of those guys, and those are, some legendary moments in March that they had this year.
Simply put it, that roster was not Elite Eight good. And they made it to a point to where they got to the Elite Eight, took out a number 1 seed, took out a Nebraska team that was on a historic run for their program. And yeah, once again, just props to Iowa. And that's just not Bennett Sturts and McCullum, but that's the entire roster. I thought they all played a pretty good game yesterday, came out ready to play. I just don't think it was enough against a stacked Illinois squad, who we'll talk about right now. And really, who I want to talk about, because Illinois is obviously – what they showed yesterday, they're a great offensive team. They're getting better defensively. I want to talk about Keaton Wagler real quick as a draft prospect. It's getting up there, bro. Like, it's seriously, offensively.
Wasn't even in the ESPN top 100.
It's insane how you didn't see it. That's an absolute steal from a program. And offensively, he's going to be a great player in the National Basketball Association based off of his skill set alone. The fact that he can catch and shoot, he can shoot off the dribble.
He makes reads.
He makes reads off pick and roll. It's a lot to deal with. He did a Penny Hardaway spin cycle yesterday, and the guy caught the ball from out of the hoop and took it out. That's what he's doing to people right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we talk about freshman guards not being able to get – well, this freshman guard is in the Final Four right now.
Yeah.
Because I think – he's an elite shooter, and he is a smart basketball player. So that's it. And he is the engine of that basketball team. 100%. So that makes it all the more impressive. And he's impressing me over and over again, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this year he might be projected as a top 5 pick.
It's not crazy to say. And I've said this due to, and not that Wagler's a terrible defender, but he tries. Yeah. And he's not terrible.
No.
And if, there was a player to end up better than Acuff, I said, like, it could be him. And I think any other draft, he'd be top 5.
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
Coincidentally, you got Caleb Wilson might be the 5th pick.
Exactly.
Like, it's crazy to think about. But, but yeah, he's an elite prospect, and I think he can be the lead guard on an NBA team.
Yeah.
I truly do believe
100%. So that's it for the Elite Eight. I don't know if we're going to do our Final Four predictions right now.
It don't matter.
Yeah, well, nah, we're not going to do that right now. Actually, we will, but I want to talk about Hubert real quick.
Okay.
Hubert Davis, we forgot to talk about this in yesterday's episode, but Hubert Davis has been fired from UNC or let go or whatever the situation was.
Right.
And me and Gavin actually have had two very different sides to this situation. So,
right.
Gav, I just want you tell the people, do you think this was a good move for Chapel Hill, and do you think it will affect our future in a negative or positive way?
Yeah, I think time will definitely tell, but I think it was, the right move, and if it wasn't, maybe it had to be made soon because, unfortunately, and I don't even think Hubert, obviously, like, there was questionable things in the VCU game, but I don't even think he's a bad coach. I actually think he's a good coach, and I thought year after year, towards the end of the year, he's been able to get the most out of our rosters.
Yes.
The problem is our rosters have not been up to par with any other blue blood or any other top-tier school. They just haven't.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in college basketball or just college sports in general, unlike professional sports, there's no, like, manager or whoever that's put on.
Yeah.
It's on the coach to recruit and bring in the proper players. And time again, last year, we had the worst front court in UNC history, I truly believe.
No,
100%,
yes.
And this year, we had honestly a weak backcourt.
Yes,
and
maybe the weakest backcourt in UNC history.
Exactly.
That's very possible.
I love Dixon.
Yeah.
I do. But we missed with Kyan Evans. We missed with Gabe Tyson. And I just think that, if you weren't going to do it this year, obviously it's unfortunate. If Caleb is healthy, what happens? I think we lose to Illinois. I think them making the Final Four kind of proves that.
Yeah.
I think Illinois is that good. And I truly do believe that. But I just think that, unfortunately, he has a blue blood job at the University of North Carolina where ACC championships and national championships and making Final Fours is what matters. And ever since the players that Roy has recruited, and he's just had the players that he has recruited, obviously this was his best year yet. Not looking at the final result, but looking at, the team and how they did in the regular season.
Yeah.
But just, losing in the first round this year, losing in the first round last year, losing in the Sweet 16, not making the tournament with the preseason number 1 team in the country.
Yes.
It's, decisions have to be made, and especially when a fan base is pressuring you, sometimes as an AD, it's not even your choice. And it hurts me because Hubert's a really good dude. Like, you could just tell, and you hear about it all the time. And this is going to be the first time, like, I think UNC basketball look a little different to me, who, like, my childhood, I've always known the Carolina family. Like, Marcus Page is on the bench this year. Sean May. Y'all, like, everyone is a part of the Carolina family. And if they go out the family, which looks like that's what they're about to do with this hire, it's not going to be the same to me. And, like, It's just kind of crazy. Seeing them asked to renovate, build a new stadium, it's just going to look completely different for me. So that's the part I don't like about it. Like, I feel like it's taking something from my childhood. Like, I like the tradition and all of that. And I guess there still will be tradition. But, that's kind of my thoughts on the hire or the firing.
Yeah. So, I think the first thing you said is the most important thing. Time will tell, right? With all of this stuff. My biggest thing is that regardless on if Hubert should have been fired or shouldn't have been fired, Chapel Hill doesn't necessarily need Hubert because Chapel Hill is the brand that it is. So presumably, and I assume, we will get another top-tier coach in the program. And I think regardless of what happens, Chapel Hill will be back to Chapel Hill standards.
Yes.
That being said, I think this decision was extremely rushed. And the reason I say that is because right now, when you do talk about the conference we play in, it's the worst conference in the Power Four.
Other than Big East, I think.
Yeah, not include in the Power Four. I won't include the Big East. Okay. And even the top end of the Big East might be a little bit better than the ACC.
And then top two teams.
Yeah, the top. Yeah, but I just think when you look at the fact that the entire ACC had a down year, and you finally, as Hubert, get a top 5 pick, you recruit a top 5 NBA pick, and he gets hurt, is bad luck. And I'm not saying that all of his shortcomings have been bad luck. Some of it has been on him. Almost the defensive no-show at the end of the VCU game, that is a little bit on Hubert. Not taking a timeout and getting a 5-second violation, a lot of that is on Hubert. Right. But Hubert did a lot of good things with this basketball team. And once again, he is 100%. Part of the Carolina family. So ultimately, we just need to make sure that whoever we hire is definitely on a tier with some of the elite coaches 100%. In basketball. That just has to be what it is. Because Hubert, in my opinion, like you said, was a good coach. And I think if you gave him another chance, next year would have been a good year considering the recruits that with Wingo coming in, and if he could have hit in the transfer portal. Now, like you said, he has not been good in the transfer portal. Yeah. So, once again, as the Carolina brand, you have flexibility to make certain decisions that other schools cannot make.
Right.
Because if Hubert was the coach of another school that isn't so profound in basketball, then that fan base will be livid. Because of the standard.
Yeah.
But the standard for UNC obviously is, like you said, national championships. And we have been nowhere close for the last 3 years. So I hate it for Hubert, like you said. And I personally disagree with the move. But as a program and what they have built up, they have the flexibility to do that. So I respect the move.
Right.
Moving on, we're going to do the predictions so I could post these next week. Let's go ahead and predict. Let's talk about Arizona and Michigan first.
Yeah.
Who do you have winning that game?
Yeah. Give me Arizona.
All right.
I think with their ability with Krivas and Koepi and Toby Awaka, I'm not going to say it's better. They could play better, but I'm not going to say it's better than Michigan, but it matches up.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be sweet.
No.
And on the flip side, Jaden Bradley, I think, is the separator in this game. I think, him and Elliott, big game. Maybe I'm biased being a Carolina fan, but I think Jaden Bradley all year has been definitely one of the best point guards in college basketball, but he's the one, other than maybe Braden Smith of these Elite 8 teams, he's the one who's the engine as the point guard of their offense. And it's not necessarily from a scoring perspective.
No, not at all.
He'll get to the midi if he needs to. He'll go get a layup if he needs to. But he makes sure that everything flows well with DeLorso, with Braden Burries, with the bigs, and his reads out of pick and roll make them honestly unstoppable.
Absolutely.
And their win against Arkansas, they're not shooting threes. They were up 20 and it was late second half and they had only shot 6 threes. Like, they're just going to get layups, and Cole Pete's shooting and Jaden Bradley are hitting mid-ranges. Everybody else is going to get layups.
Yeah.
And Braden Burries is going to get to the rim and shoot threes.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with Arizona in this game. First off, I do think they are the better team based off everything you just said.
Right.
And I think their road here has been a little bit tougher.
Right.
I think Arkansas is better than any team Michigan has played up to this point.
Right.
And I think, obviously, Purdue is better than any team they've played up to this point. And it wasn't easy game. It wasn't an easy game against Purdue, but they pulled away and they made it, kind of a college blowout, I'll call it. So Arizona, I just straight up think is the better team. I think it's time for Michigan to get humble, quite honestly. And I am gonna go with Arizona in this game.
Right.
But yeah, if Michigan wins, then I'm just wrong. I'll take that on the chin.
Me too. And it's not that. I think these are the best two teams.
Yeah.
Like, I think this.
Once again, I don't think that. But
I think Michigan is the second. I just think their defense is elite, and Mara is the separator for them.
Yeah.
I mean, this game could go the other way. Mara could make Krivas irrelevant. I don't know. Like, I don't think that's gonna happen. Krivas being 7'2" and stronger frame.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think it's gonna be a great matchup, and I think it will go down to the wire. I just think it's going to be interesting if it goes down to the wire, because this is one of those teams where it's not Duke, it's not UConn, it's not these teams who have elite shot making.
No.
So I do wonder what the final media looks like in a tie game like this.
I think Burries is an elite shot maker.
I do too.
But other than that,
but
and he's a freshman.
Exactly, he's a freshman, and I don't think he's going to run off a bunch of made shots in that final media. So it'll be interesting to see who controls the paint in this game. Honestly, I'm interested to see who controls the paint, and it's going to be interesting to see what big is in foul trouble first. And
I love Krivas.
He knows his role.
Yeah.
He blocks shots. He
Big
plays
guy,
hard. He's 7'2", diving on the floor.
Yeah,
I love Krivas.
So, yeah, we're both going to go Arizona on that one. And then next game, Illinois and UConn. I honestly don't know which way to go right here, so I'm going to think about it a little bit. Who are you going to go with in that game?
Yeah, give me UConn.
Okay.
Give me Dan Hurley. I think Illinois has, better offense, of course.
Yeah.
And then defensively, they're coming along. I just think with Dan Hurley, with a week of preparation and his staff, I can't go against Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
Like I've stated, he almost knocked out the number one seed last year in Florida.
Yeah.
He almost knocked out. I mean, he did just knock out Duke.
Yeah.
He knocked out Tom Izzo. Illinois as a program have never been here before. I think you'll start to see in games like this, Taurus Reed once again show up and have an elite game. I think you'll see Karaban have an elite game. I mean, the winningest player in UConn history. I mean, if he gets a national championship this year, I mean,
he's stamped.
Yeah, he's stamped. I mean, I think
he won't have to ever pay for a meal in Connecticut again.
Yeah. But I just think guys like that, I think this is kind of like getting over the hump for UConn.
Yeah.
Honestly, you kind of start to think, other than Taurus Reed, dang, could they have played worse?
Yeah.
Could they have played worse? And they beat Duke. It wasn't could they have played worse and they won their first round matchup?
No, it was the Elite Eight.
Can they shoot worse than this?
No.
And they won in the Elite Eight against Duke.
Yeah.
Who was regarded,
as the best team in the country.
Exactly. So I think that was very impressive, and I think just it's one of those things how I tell you, and I will now, but at the time, I'm not going to bet against Jokic after he just won the title.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bet against Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bet against Dan Hurley.
Okay.
Especially when the rosters are comparable.
Yeah.
It would be different if UConn plays Arizona. I might be different. I might have to pick Arizona just
because Arizona's better.
Exactly. 1 through 5. Literally 1 through 5. But it's not that. These are very, these are even teams. You have the second best team in the Big East, and you got, maybe the best team in the Big East, honestly, even though they didn't win the Big East. And you got an elite team in the Big Ten. Who do you, I mean, that's another
Is dark
discussion.
blue, and this is mad random, is dark blue in every single team's logo that's good? Or at some point?
Dark blue.
Because you're thinking about it right now. Michigan,
UNC.
Arizona, the Final Four all has dark blue. Duke has, they're kind of dark blue.
Yeah.
UNC has a version of dark blue that they pull out sometimes. That's random. My fault. I was just thinking about it.
but I'm gonna go with UConn.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with UConn as well, and it's for 3 reasons. 1, they have the coaching advantage, Dan Hurley, like you just said.
Right.
2, the way Taurus Reed is playing right now, and the frame of their bigs at Illinois, I don't know if they can handle Tars Reed. I mean, he's literally playing like prime Shaq. The way he's spitting off of guys, doing left hooks, bullying guys, shooting over the top, it's pretty scary.
It's special.
What he's doing right now. It's just the way. I'm not saying he's going to be a great NBA player. I'm just saying the way he's playing right now in college basketball, and front court wins in college basketball.
100%.
He's going to be dominant. And then my last reason is because Illinois is ran by a freshman guard right now, and I don't know how long that can last as far as them winning.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to go with UConn as well, based off of all those reasons, and I guess we have the same natty.
Yeah, and I think this will, honestly, I think that matchup will come down to the wild cards.
Yeah.
Like Stojakovic.
Yeah.
Solo ball.
Absolutely.
Braylon Mullins. Like who kind of has their big game out of that group?
And as the guards right now, Illinois absolutely is playing better. That's how Stojakovic and Wagler are playing 10 times better than whether it be Solo Ball, Silas, whether it be Caravan has been playing pretty good other than today.
Yeah.
But
I mean Mullins ended up having a good day today, but like, it wasn't like amazing.
Exactly.
Like,
so
and he wasn't shooting at the beginning of the tournament.
Exactly. So. It's closer than I was thinking. I wouldn't be surprised if Illinois won this game.
100%.
But
I would assume they might be the favorite, honestly. But I'm
absolutely.
I can't go against Dan Hurley. I can't. Not in this tournament.
Not right now. I can't. But that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. March is just a beautiful time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
Great time.
Shout out Drake. But thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.